Did you know that queer and trans people actually experience time completely differently to cis-het people?
That is one big pile of shit.
Sometimes the fruit I pick hangs far too low.
It's a concept called queer temporality.
In short, queer temporality pushes against heteronormativitized framing and disciplining of time, charting more queer ways to think about history, pace, relationships, notions of success, and a linear segmentation of past, present, future.
And it basically has to do with the fact that historically, as queer and trans people, our lives have started much later.
So because queer people discovered who they really were later in life, that means that time moves at a different speed to them?
And for a whole bunch of reasons, ended earlier than our cis-het counterparts. So as a result, our experience of time is compressed.
Haven't you got enough made-up pronouns? Don't you feel special enough? Haven't you got enough validation? Are you now wanting time itself to conform to your beliefs or some shit?
It also has to do with the fact that those milestones that we've been socialized to use to mark the passage of time, so things like marriage or having children or, working, retiring, inheritance, things like that, haven't been accessible to us.
You're fucking crazy.
It's a shame that she's queer because I hear that crazy, insane bitches are great in bed.
And that linear timeline has a name.
I'm all ears.
Tell me.
Heterochronology.
Yeah, I looked this up. I couldn't find a reference to it anywhere. Or maybe I should have dug a little bit deeper. Or maybe I should give a fuck more, which I don't really give a fuck at all.
And as queer and trans people, our experience of time often sits outside that. Basically, it's super interesting, and I'm going to be unpacking it more this week on the podcast. So listen in wherever you like to do that.
So I just want to take a second to point something out for white women.
This shit's gonna have nuts in it.
That is very obvious to the rest of us, but that most of y'all are unaware of. And here goes.
I'm listening.
When you are on your anti-racism journey.
Yes, the anti-racism journey. Because us evil white devils have a lot to unlearn, don't we?
And you're learning about these things. You're learning how to shift these mindsets and beliefs that are founded and rooted in white supremacy that you were unaware of until recently.
Are you saying that subconsciously I'm a white supremacist? If so, then I'm wondering if she's just basing that upon the fact that I am white, an immutable characteristic that I can't do anything about. I keep having to remind myself that we're now living in a society where it's absolutely permissible for any black person to just say that all white people are racist. Oh, well, I guess we should just hear her out, if only to just have a good laugh.
Right, and so you're trying to grow, trying to heal, all of that stuff. And you recognize that you messed up somewhere. You slipped up and you did a racism.
I'm guessing that's by your definition of racism. The definition of which has been made so vague and into such a grey area that you can apply it to just about anything you want and face very little pushback.
Going to a place of beating yourself up for 3 days about how terrible and horrible you are, and you're just this worthless, terrible little white lady, all of that stuff, that's self-centering.
Shut up, silly woman.
I thought recognizing one's own racism according to you was a good thing, but now it's self-centering. You cannot win. You can never be anti-racist enough.
That is actually part of white supremacy.
I know, of course.
Because you're going into that self-loathing thing.
No, not me.
You're punishing yourself. And within the confines of the structure of whiteness, punishment, you punish people because they're worthy and deserving of punishment. The fuck? Stop. No.
Shut the fuck up!
Right, because it's down to you to punish us evil white fuckers. And you don't want to be deprived of that.
Don't punish yourself for it. Recognize it.
No.
Acknowledge it. and then grow from it.
No.
Don't waste your time centering yourself to punish yourself because somehow that is helpful. It's not.
You won't get that from me. I am not that pathetic.
It helps no one. It's self-centering. Just stop self-centering. You did a racism.
That is not a very nice way to talk about your mum.
You recognize it. You acknowledge it.
No.
You figure out why you did it, where it came from, how you didn't recognize it at the time, and you do the work.
I do the work? But what if I try to do that and I accidentally do another racism? Won't I need a black person to guide me? Isn't that why you've got a fucking brazen Cash App right there?
Choosing to center yourself is actually a cop-out. How many of you growing up, when you would do something wrong, your mother would be like, oh, you're terrible, you're blah, 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 all of these things. Did that actually help you in the long run?
My racist mother drew a swastika on her hand before she spanked me as a child.
Or did it make you self-conscious and all of these other things? Don't. It's a waste of time. It's self-centering, and it brings the focus back to you. And it puts you at the center rather than healing and growth and actually getting better. It just keeps you stuck. Stop doing it. It's not cute. It's not helpful. It doesn't do anything. Nobody's feeling bad for you. Nobody's like, oh, poor. No. Stop. Do the work. Put in the work. Knock it off.
Help! I need dick!
If you're white and you believe to be subconsciously racist like this person obviously thinks that you are, then you're a pathetic, spineless weakling. And you really need to stop giving a fuck when people call you racist. Because it doesn't fucking mean a goddamn thing anymore. It's like vapor. It's the steam that comes out of the kettle when you boil it to make a cup of coffee or something. If you know you're not racist, that's all it takes. She's just a broken girl who doesn't have a father.